This is part 2 of the master modelling exercise. The next thing we can do is look at different ways of using these components or sending them into an assembly. As discussed, there are two techniques. One would be classed as a push technique, where we are pushing components from our master model to create an assembly. The alternative technique is classed as a pull technique, where from the assembly we would pull components across from their individual part files. So let's first of all look at the push technique. And for that we need to firstly create individual part files from within inside this master model. So if you right click on the second to last item in our list, the split for the battery cover, and just click on edit feature. Scroll down and find the two ticked items. Find your battery cover piece, double click where it says none, then click the browse file. I've created a folder on my desktop, which is where I'm going to store all the pieces. I'll call this battery cover and save that. While we're in here, I can also name some of the components on the top side. So, body 3, which is the top cover, browse, and I'll save that and call it top cover. Body 1, which is the screen trim. Call that the screen trim. And body 2, there we go. Browse and call that screen. And we'll save that. I think we'll leave it on that. And click the tick. Wait for it to save those files individually. Right. Now if you right click on battery cover and click on create assembly and browse, and we'll call this master model assembly, save. Battery cover and all the pieces defined within it will be outputted into it. Click OK and it will create. Just answer to rebuild and save the document. And we've now got the 4 files: battery cover, screen trim, screen and top cover as parts in our assembly. So I can modify some of these parts now. Let's look first at the move face tool. So if I look at, first of all, I'll look at the screen trim item. So right click on it, choose edit part, so we're working with the screen trim only. in the Direct Editing tab, choose Move Face, and the face I'm going to move is the outer flat face. Clicking the vector box here to define the direction that we're moving it, and the distance that we're moving it, make it 0.5mm upwards. Okay, so it's just, that should now be sitting slightly proud of the top surface. So if you finish editing the part, that's obvious. Similar for the screen itself, I'm going to recess that back a little bit further. So edit part, move face, click the outer face, click in the parameters box, choose one of the edges to define the direction. I'm just going to flip the direction so that it's going the opposite way, so it'll become thinner rather than thicker. Okay, that's it. There, we've got a nice recessed screen there with a trim around it. We can also modify by modelling additional elements. So let's have a look at the battery cover part. So I edit that part. I want to create some walls around here that will be like the location for the batteries. So I can start by creating a sketch on the top plane, and I'm going to draw a rectangle. So that's just a bit normal to the screen. So if I choose centre rectangle and I position the centre on the middle of the bisecting line, we'll give it a width of 15, a length of 35. Okay, so you see it's on the top plane, not on the surface. And that sketch. Into features, create an extrusion. We'll change it to up to surface. Actually, we need to use up to body because the bottom screen here is, if we choose surface, we can only pick one side because the surface is split into two. You can't pick them both together. So I need to choose up to body, and then I can pick the whole of the battery cover part. We don't want to extrude all the way from the top plane, so rather than extruding from the sketch plane, we'll choose offset, and maybe offset amount 5mm. It's going the wrong way at the moment, so I want to offset below the top plane rather than above. There we go. Let's just increase that a little bit. It's in line now with the top of that. And we want it to be a thin feature. We'll make it 1.5 wall thickness. Just check the preview looks okay. Click the tick to accept. Right. We can also apply some materials to our parts to make it start to look a little bit more realistic. So if we click on Display Manager so we can see what we're doing, if you click on one of the pieces that you want to apply material to, click on the little arrow next to the appearance symbol, and here we can define whether it's a face, a feature, a body, or a part that we're wanting to apply the material to. I want to apply it to the whole component, the whole part. I can then choose a material that I think is going to be appropriate. Let's go with a plastic. Choose a carbon fibre material to apply. There we go. Okay, to accept it, I do the same to the top cover. Find the same material and apply that as well. For the trim, I think I'll go with a metallic trim, so I'll choose a metal, maybe a chrome. Let's go with a nice shiny chrome plate. Now it's looking sort of black on that top surface. That's just because of the way that the shadow is. You turn it in the right direction, it'll come up looking more sort of chromy. And lastly, the screen. I think we'll go with a glass. I'm going to choose reflective blue. Okay. So I mentioned there was another technique. So we've looked at the push technique, where we pushed these components from our master model into an assembly. The pull technique is slightly different, and for that we need to start by creating a new part file. So we go to New, click on Part, and we'll save this in the same folder. Call it Bottom Shell. Right, to bring our part in then, I'm going to go to Insert, Part, find the master model exercise file, make sure I've got surfaces, solids, planes and unabsorbed sketches ticked, and click the tick to make it slightly easier to see. You can turn off planes and sketches, and then in the Direct Editing tab I want to delete solid surface bodies and delete everything apart from the base bottom shell. So click the tick, just leaving the bottom shell piece. Quickly click Save. you may get this message and just click Save All. Right, now we can just drag this part into our new area. Quite a lot of parts open at the moment, so just to make it slightly easier, if we click on Tile vertically and close all the pieces, the items that are not necessary, let's say yes to save changes to all the parts, so things like materials, and we can close the master model down now as well. Okay, now just go back to your window and choose Tile vertically. Now go to the top level in the feature manager, click on where it says bottom shell and drag and move your mouse to the origin marker on your assembly and then release your mouse. Now close that file. Maximize this one. And you can see we've got the component in the right place. Just turn off planes and sketches again so that it's less cluttered. And in the same way we can apply material to this section here. So I'm going to go with a plastic, a high gloss plastic. Let's go with red. There we go. And now all that's left to be done is to save the assembly, and that's the exercise completed.